r/AskReddit. What is the scariest thing you've come across on the internet? That one video where the car was driving down that mountain road and you had to pay close attention and then it turned out to be a screamer. The girls that tried to appease Slender Man by killing their friend. For sheer stomach churning gore. A hand degloved by an industrial paper shredder. It was sort of satisfying in its uniformity and neatness, mechanical precision and all that. For sheer existential terror. A short video of a boy dying of rabies. He's delirious and sick and it's just sad. But then for a second or two he locks eyes with the camera and snarls in a perfectly, quintessentially animalistic way. And you realize how easy it is to lose yourself and become other. To become reduced to just base instinct and bodily functions with no you left. Yeah. Rabies is a splashy version of that. But I think a lot of old age illnesses, how we are all increasingly more likely to die, isn't so different. And the ultimately terrifying thing is that it's also much worse to watch that and know we are potentially next than to live through it. Mexican cartel members shooting two restrained guys at point blank then cutting their heads off with a machete. Saw a beheading of this woman on Facebook when I was like 14. The guy used a machete and it took several slices. Shit fucked me up hard. I was in my early teens when I learned what a crushing fetish is. Women crush eggs and light bulbs and stuff under their feet and it confused me. How can this turn people on? So I searched for more of it to try to unravel the mystery and found that certain sick fucks out there don't stop at eggs and light bulbs. There was a video of a kitten being crushed under this lady's high heel. I didn't go on the internet for a few days after that. Pro-Lana forums where mostly teen girls encourage each other to starve to death. People being brutally tortured was pretty fucked up. Easily, without question the videos ISIS kept shoving online when they were expanding across the Middle East. What made them scary and downright disturbing was that it was happening now. Some of these people were living normal lives in Europe or Turkey or the US just months earlier and now here they are, literally butchering people with a smile on their face for all the world to see. It happened then. It can happen again. Video of two teenage boys driving to a girl's home whom they plan to murder. It also has video of them after they did it. They are way too excited about murder. I've seen videos of people straight up dying. That is not as scary as that video. Someone getting their head blown off by a shotgun. That video of a brick flying through a windshield and killing the mother in the passenger seat. There's no gore, but the reactions of the husband and daughter will stick with me forever. A video of some guy committing suicide by jumping off the roof and then falling on some weird pole thing in a way that caused it to go up his. When I was much younger, 6 or 7, my friends and I googled poo poo pee pee and actually stumbled across a golden shower site. We were all both horrified and very confused. I was younger when I read this, but the bend round creepypasta freaked me out. Also the Squidward suicide creepypasta that was referenced in a recent SpongeBob episode. Those Spotify ads that jump out of nowhere and seem louder than the song itself. That shit makes me jump every time. Live leak. Dude got cut up by a chainsaw while he was still alive. Camera app. We had a forensic psychology class and we had presentations. One of the presenters showed a video from YouTube of an active shooter coming in and the people were under a table and no matter how much they begged for their lives he still shot them. Might not seem like much in this day and age to watch that, but knowing it was real, it made me feel like I was there, trapped, and knowing that nothing I'd do or say would save me. And it got so bad I actually ran out of the classroom. Envious of the people who didn't have friends that showed them gore shit from 4chan under the premise of this is hilarious. So I spent a decent amount of time in cadaver labs early in my career, which meant I thought I could handle anything in a healthy way. For example, I've seen almost all of ISIS stupid bullshit including women being gutted like animals and that pilot being burned alive. I wanted to understand the level of evil possible in the world, what we are capable of, and I wanted to know reality. However, there are two photos I really can't shake. One goes by the name Insats Group and murder Jews in Ivanhorod, Ukraine, 1942. and the other is of two naked young Jewish women holding hands and crying as they march towards a mass grave. Rifles aimed at their backs. My shrink told me to cut that shit out. The guy who jumped off the train onto the platform, then got chopped in half as he crashed into a sign. Not necessarily scary, but creepy, was some website with in-depth tutorials on suicide. I think the best option, meaning quickest and least painful, was an exit bag. Then it showed how to make it and follow through. A human fell onto active power lines, was electrocuted to death, and was decapitated. Blue waffles. The whole Jeff the Killer thing was pretty scary to me when I was younger. The story of Junko Furita. No link for this one. If you want to find it, you can on Wikipedia, but I refuse to get back on the page to grab the link edit. I know everything on this post is awful, but I pretty firmly believe this should be right up there. Morg's YouTube channel. This post. 2 guys being cut up by a cartel while still alive. That was too much for me. Tortures, organs, and lots of creepypastas and disturbing videos. Most of them sponsored by my school friends. I got dared to look up the Russian sleep experiment. Still have images in my head. Junko Furuta's Wikipedia page. It may be gone from my browsing history, but never from my mind. I think the most unsettling of things is videos of like industrial accidents. I remember one particularly that was a guy who had gotten caught in some kind of machine that was like a horizontal cylinder that was spinning at high speed. He just got pulled into it and then it proceeded to beat his body against the ground like a child with a doll for what feels like way too long before somebody shuts it off. The force it brought him into the ground with was obviously enough to kill him instantly on the first hit. I think when it comes down to it that shit really hits home the most, because I work in the industrial field, and while I don't really think of the machines I work around as something that could hurt me in a manner like that machine did to that guy, what that stuff makes me realize is that he probably came to work that day thinking the same thing. That's what scares me. Someone was listing all the NSFW subreddits and cute corpses showed up. I quit the internet for a bit. The scariest things, for me, are those that actually happened. Like reading the full description of what happened to Hisashi Aochi. https://www.youtube.com/watch v=ccrth6ydf4. I even googled him to look at real photographs and my oh my. Also, the Don't FK with Cats documentary is quite creepy. Gigas. I hate this fetus looking so much, cause my brain actively feels like it's being stabbed when I look at it. The shit on r/5050. 2 guys 1 hammer. These 2 guys find a homeless man sleeping in the woods and proceed to, presumably, murder him by shoving nails in him and bashing him with a hammer. It was actual footage and scarred me for a bit. A friend showed me. American Horror Season 2 for entertainment. A subreddit for hentai for straight disgusting. Old creepypastas and fake ghost cams used to terrify me when I was younger. Now not so much. Back in the early 2000s there was a video circulating called the Pain Olympics. All sorts of twisted shit this guy's doing to his and balls. Smashing it with a hammer. Cutting it. Needles and stuff. I was 12 on Omegle VidChat by myself because I was bored. I got matched with a guy with his out and a girl no older than 3 playing with it. Called him a monster and left Omegle after that. A stranger saying my own address, but not to me. Run the gauntlet. There's a video of teenage girls stepping on a kitten to death that my friend showed me. I hope those girls get buried alive by Mexican cartels. The amount of pure ignorance and hate in the world, and complete lack of empathy. Also all the gore and fucked up shit. But the first part is worst. No one saying happy cake day to, but FR though. Someone live streaming them making a noose. 2 girls 1 cup. It was a video on Best Gore which showed a man and his son being executed by Mexican drug cartels. The man was beheaded and his son was flayed alive. However, I'm completely desensitized to all this stuff now. Someone linked me to an ISIS assassination video where a group of people had det cord put around their neck. It happened too quickly for me to react, and I was unable to shut it off by the time I'd already seen it. That fucked me up for a while. I don't think I'll ever be entirely at peace with it. Blank room soup. And the story behind it. I was a messed up kid. Just recently I watched a guy's head get cut off by a masked terrorist. There used to be this gory subreddit, and this guy literally cut off his penis. Who the cuts off their penis? Who in the goddamn earth cuts their penis off? That's the story for today now. Stay safe, kiddos. Ops mom's nude still recovering from that one. r/5050. I've seen a lot of scary stuff on the internet, but my number one would be a cartel video. Someone got their hand cut off, face skinned, and throat cut all to the tune of Funky Town. I think it was the sound that the guy was making that really added to the whole thing. Funky Town guy, wherever you are, cheers bro. Decapitated heads. TBH it's gotta be that foreigner challenge on TikTok a few months back. My eyes were not ready for that disgusting crap. The Iraqi depleted uranium baby pictures. I cried. Guy with his face and hand cut off being casually stabbed by someone off camera. The blasé cruelty scared me more than anything. Humans can be pretty shitty. The people torturing and killing the guy, for whatever reason, probably went home and had dinner with their family like nothing had happened. 2 guys 1 hammer. 2 girls 1 cup. Slender Man game. Skinwalker Ranch mystery. Yup. You got me thinking about the horrors. Now I'll be angry for hours. Why did I read this whole thread? Luke am ag fucking not a horrible person. I find it interesting how many, if these answers are creepypasta or otherwise fictional versus how many are real life gore and atrocities. My answer is the brick through the windshield. I've seen a lot of gore online, but that made the strongest impression by far. If don't know what I'm talking about, please just leave it at that and don't bother looking it up. The entirety of 4chan. The Simpsons murder. My friends all sent each other a video of a dude drilling a hole through his skull. Thank you Norton family for saving me from seeing that one. Typed in my address and found a picture of my home and neighborhood. Normal porn for normal people. That shit. This is on Facebook. A man captured by terrorists. They pointed a gun at Jim while he was digging his own grave. Later on, they let him lay down on it and beheaded him while laying on his own coffin. The Russian sleep experiment. I know it's not real, but reading the story along with the pictures gave me nightmares. I am also bipolar and schizophrenic, and I first read it before I was diagnosed, so not only did I have nightmares, I would occasionally see those images everywhere I went. Friend went down a gory rabbit hole and found a video that he then sent to our group chat. It was a video of this guy that fell off a ladder that was propped up against a tree. A branch caught his face and tore the whole left side of his face below his eye off. The mangled part was still attached by his ear. And then it was a close-up video and you could just see the fear in his eyes. Reddit. 3 guys 1 hammer. Crime scene photos and autopsy photos of Jack the Ripper victims in the Black Dahlia. It's just unreal what some people are driven to do to other people. I remember seeing a video of ISIS executing some guy with an axe. The video was super grainy, but I feel like my memory of the video fills in the gaps enough that I can still remember most of the details. The worst part is that someone had posted it on Twitter disguised as some dog video or some shit. I was way too young for that. Guy getting his head sawed off by cartel with a dull blade. Animal Dark Paradise. It's gone now, I think shut down by the police. But really fucked up shit. Hentai comics named Eragoras 2 and Mei-chan's Daily Life. Both of these made me seriously disgusted, disappointed and outright afraid of humanity. Seeing someone get decapitated was pretty fucked up, especially because of how slow it was. Best gore. Hentai. A sub of Reddit about sadism made me want to puke, and I don't mean to judge them. I think they are holding back as much as they can. But basically, the most despicable things in society is there, you know, future rapists, murderers, torturers. It is very rough. But apart from that, it is very interesting. Although the first time I read it, I almost shit on my pants. Smile dog, it ruined Huskies for me. Back before Tumblr blacklisted NSFW stuff and openly had porn blogs, it had really good porn. Lots of niche porn that was easy to find by the tags. And sometimes you'd find one good blog and keep clicking who they reblogged from to find blogs that better suited your taste. But I guess I browsed a little too long and deep, and I came across child porn. I have never wanted to burn my eyes out and set laptop on fire faster. I was so scared the FBI or some shit was gonna nab my for even coming across that shit by accident. Kept me from looking at porn for a long time. The internet. The Chernobyl explosion is up there. The details are horrifying, and the elephant's foot is a whole new world of creepy. Don't know if it still exists and never want to find out. But there used to be a website specifically to have the most disturbing photos and stories or gore that I used to look at once a week. The worst photo I saw was an old standalone bathtub containing the remains of a man in his 80s that turned into human soup because he had a water heater connected to the bath water. He died and over several weeks his body cooked and slid off his bones, creating a brownish liquid soup-like material. Around 2010 to 2012 I was on Omegle really late at night. I think the person I matched with put a video of a video onto the chat screen. BC it was fuzzy, but all it showed was my face with their screen as someone hanging themselves and just swinging. It terrified me. I then also seen a lot worse things on there too, but I consider that more disturbing than scary. That one guy on YouTube who had his great grandmother's corpse and coffin in his backyard. One man, one jar. A guy puts a glass jar up his butt. The jar breaks inside his butt, and blood comes out of his butthole all over the floor as he removes the glass pieces from inside his butt. The link for anyone who dares. NSFW. https://shockgen.com/one-man-one-jar-video/. Ugh, what I saw on Twitter almost made me puke. There's a pedo map community on Twitter, and I was reporting a bunch of them. Then one day one of them had an awful video on their account and I reported it to the FBI. That was the last time I reported something. It made me really depressed and angry. People fangirling over pedophiles. I am referring to Hisoka from HXH. Whoever likes him needs to see a therapist. Your Tinder profile. Reddit. The guy. The snake. Really wish I didn't click on that link. Some shit you can't unsee. Some sort of Middle Eastern extremist group recruitment video. A slow motion of man's head getting blown off with a shotgun. And two other guys getting their heads sawn off with what appeared to be combat knives. Very gruesome and disturbing. It's somewhere between that and a video called, I think, Two Guys One Hammer. They beat some dude to death with a sledgehammer and stabbed him and shit. You can hear him gurgling on blood. I got sick from watching it. It's burned into my brain and I'm getting sick retelling what I saw. I really can't say which is worse. Mr. Hands. I know it's not scary, it's just weird and he died. But it's always been one of those videos you can't forget. Like a lot of Faces of Death stuff. Goat saw something similar.